Hey everyone, Usman here, back with another YouTube video. So I am going to be talking about The Batman. The Batman came out, it was a Friday on March 4th, I believe. Yeah, it came out, well actually I ended up watching the movie like Thursday night, so on the 3rd. So yeah, I'm going to be talking about The Batman, giving my movie review for it, just talking about how I felt about the film, my general thoughts here and there, and hopefully, yeah, just don't leave any spoilers in the comments or anything like that if any of you have seen it. Don't try to spoil it for anybody because it's not good. Don't spoil anything for anybody. That's bad. Let me just give you my thoughts right now on this movie. The Batman, I like the film. I liked it. I liked it a lot. It was a really, really good movie. It was not like as memorable of a movie experience as something like Spider-Man: No Way Home was when I watched the movie. Like I think back in December, because I've seen Spider-Man: No Way Home like 3 times in theaters. But it was still like a good film. I still enjoyed it very much. Some of the audience was responding to it a little bit. I was responding to it. It's a dark film. It is PG-13. It does, I guess, in some ways, with some critics and other YouTubers, they talk about this film being kind of pushing the limits for it. It kind of does a little bit. It isn't really suitable that much for kids. It kind of does have the violence and the whatever, but it's not like, oh my gosh, it's like so brutal and violent. But it does show, but it is like a dark film, and in terms of a little bit of the tone, and I guess even sort of the lighting and stuff like that too, and whatever. I don't want to get like all technical and be like, oh, I know so much, I'm a critic. It's like, no, I just, based off that and even reviews and what I've seen, it's like, I just think it kind of follows that sort of trajectory, I guess. So honestly, this Batman movie, it's not my favorite Batman film. I think my favorite Batman film, and I think everybody can agree on this, is The Dark Knight. The Dark Knight's still my favorite Batman movie to this day. The Joker performance, obviously everything else in that film was amazing. Not even just the Joker, but like everything in general with Christian Bale's performance and everything like that. And Christian Bale is still my favorite Batman. He always been my favorite Batman. I grew up on his Batman. It's kind of like with Tobey Maguire and growing up with his Spider-Man or something in those films. Like it's kind of like where Christian Bale's kind of the same in that regard. The other actors to play him afterwards have not really been that super memorable, like Ben Affleck or whatever. I know there's like a fan base of people that love him, but I'm like, yeah. But Robert Pattinson, I think he did pretty good in the film. I think he might be my number 2 favorite Batman because of everything. And he's mainly Batman for most of the movie. I don't know if that's really a spoiler or whatever, but he's mainly Batman for most of the movie anyways. You barely see him as Bruce Wayne. I mean, it kind of technically is one, but then I guess if you've seen the trailers, yeah. But yeah, he's mainly Batman the most of the time, and he's fine. And he does play Batman well. He's menacing. He knows how to use the Batman voice pretty well. When he was in the movie and he was speaking in his Batman voice, you could feel that, and it was really cool. The movie was pretty long. It was 2 hours, I think, and 56 minutes, I believe. Yeah, I feel like, as like a lot of people also mentioned, it didn't need to be that long, but I still thought that the story was good either way and everything, and I wasn't bored. I wasn't like, oh my gosh, this is so boring. I mean, no. But if they did cut off like maybe about 20 or 30 minutes maybe, then I think it would have been a little bit better, a little bit more tighter of the film, Like it's just showcasing, Bruce Wayne and another side of him and how he's like damaged and everything after what happened with his parents and everything like that. This year 2 of him being the Batman and him still just, being sort of angry and everything like that and being who he is and everything. So yeah, I mean, the action in the film was good. It was really, it was kind of like, showing Batman more, brutal side, more, better sort of action, I guess, in that regard. There was a chase scene, I think, in the movie or something where he was chasing, I think in the trailer, where he's chasing the penguin, and that scene was crazy, and during that scene, it was like all rain and everything, so it was just like, oh gosh, what's going on with that? Zoe Kravitz's Catwoman, she was good in the film. I generally don't care for Catwoman at all. I'm just like, oh, Catwoman's Catwoman, cool, I guess. But they integrated her into the story that made sense. So it was cool, I guess, Some of the technology that Bruce Wayne was able to use was not bad. Some of which you didn't see in the other movies, like even the Nolan movies or something that you never, like the kind of technology that Bruce Wayne, that you never saw, in the Nolan movies and everything. But I don't know. Batmobile was fine. A lot of it for me is just going to be based off the Nolan films because I just think I have much more of an appreciation and an admiration for those films more than I do, and it's more of a reference to me as a Batman fan compared to any other sort of Batman media. So yeah, so I'm going to sort of compare to that, but I don't know. The gadgets that he used and even everything else were pretty cool in this film and showing that and everything. Like it was pretty cool. The Riddler was the main villain of the film. The actor's name is like Paul Dano, I think. He delivered a great performance, very kind of creepy with the way that he acted. It was intense, so he delivered that really well. The Riddler has always been kind of an interesting character. A lot of the time when I think of the Riddler, I also think of the Batman Arkham games where the Riddler is like a main sort of villain that you have to fight. Well, not fight, but like you have to solve. Like you have to find a bunch of trophies or something around the city or something in Arkham City. and you got to solve those riddles, and then eventually I think it leads to a boss battle, I believe, if I remember clearly. So I've only played like I think Arkham Asylum and City, so it's like that's really all I have for that reference. But yeah, Paul Dano as Riddler was really great in that film. There's just so much in there. Penguin was not bad. Yeah, the makeup that they gave Colin Farrell was cool, or like it was really convincing, and it wasn't it wasn't like clear like, oh, I mean, it obviously was makeup, but then it wasn't like, there weren't moments in the film where it was like that's actually that you could see that that's makeup. It wasn't like that kind of thing. So it was a little different than what you would expect. But yeah, like this film was really, really good. Like the music that plays in it, like the score for the film, it's not my favorite Batman score, but it's still like, it was still good, and I think you could listen to it and still be like, that's powerful, and that's kind of reminiscent of what Batman would be like. But again, the Dark Knight score, perfect. The Batman movies for the Nolan films are great. Hans Zimmer composed those, and every time I listen to that score, I feel like the epicness and the intensity in that score, and it just sounds like so, like, you get amped up whenever you listen to that score. You're like, ugh, compared to the one in the movie. It's just like, it's really cool. And Andy Serkis wasn't bad in the film either, and he played Alfred. He was a good Alfred, with the amount of screen time that he had as him was limited, but he was still good in whatever he delivered in that film. Again, very long film, but it had its moments. It was good. Yeah, it may or may not be for everybody. Sometimes I think with Batman films, sometimes like even with him, people are going to be definitive in saying that, considering he's such a popular character, it's like, oh no, Batman, this movie's a masterpiece or something whenever a new Batman movie comes out. I don't always think that's the case. I just feel like that's kind of, they make those movies overrated because he's like a really, really popular character, just like how Spider-Man is. But I have more of an affinity for Spider-Man as a character compared to Batman. But Batman is still cool to me, and I still think he's a very cool character, and like, even for just being a human, I just think he's like cool with the gadgets and the martial arts and everything, and that's kind of cool. With Spider-Man being a little bit more fantastical with the way that his, he has spider powers or superpowers, and he's able to, out of his hands like webs. So it's like, I don't know if I would say this movie's a masterpiece. I would say that it's a really good movie. I don't know if it's like super, super fun, but I think it delivers in the action department. Some good dramatic scenes here and there, and I don't know, some cool characters here and there, and Gordon as well, played by Jeffrey Wright. He did good in the film as well. He was a good Commissioner Gordon. I feel like half the time in the movie, like whenever he was talking to Batman or he was in other scenes, he would always be like copying Robert Pattinson's Batman's voice. So he would be like, sort of like, hey, it's a penguin. He would just, I think both of them kind of had like whispery voices, but I feel like they were sort of trying to meet each other with that like competitive, with whose voice was much more deeper or more whispery or something. So that's kind of what I thought that they were doing in that film. But otherwise, I don't know, maybe I'm overthinking about that too much. But I don't know, I guess, yeah, like, but it was a good film. Really enjoyed it. Obviously not like it was for people are comparing it. It's like, oh, what is better, Spider-Man No Way Home or The Batman? Spider-Man No Way Home for me, because I like Spider-Man more. Sure, it was fan service in that film, but I still thought it delivered in a lot of different departments, and I really loved No Way Home more of a deeper connection to me than The Batman was. The Batman still great film, but sometimes I feel like when these Batman movies come out or something, I feel like people are always so inclined to say that it's a masterpiece and it's the best thing ever, because Batman's also a lovable character, but he's also, because he's grounded and they can do the darkness stuff and whatever, that people are like, this is going to be a masterpiece. But it's like, whatever, Batman is Batman, but like, film is subjective, so whatever. But yeah, if I had to give this movie a rating, I don't know, I would probably be saying I think I would give it like an 8 out of 10, probably like an 8 out of 10. Still a really good film. I'm gonna watch it again probably when it comes out on a streaming service on HBO Max. That's gonna be cool. And yeah, I've only seen it once, so I'll see it again. Obviously, it wasn't something like a movie where I was like, I'm gonna rush back to the theater and see it, but still like a good film, entertaining nonetheless. But those are little minor things here and there. People bring up the whole thing where like, oh, could this work in like the Joker world of Joaquin Phoenix? I don't think so. Also, well, I mean, I think it could in the tone-wise, but in a little. But then also at the same time, it's like with Joaquin Phoenix's Joker, that movie took place like I think in the 80s in Gotham. Smartphones and all this kind of modern stuff didn't exist, obviously. The Batman, I think, takes place in like the 2020s, like we're during our time period, because we're in 2022 right now. So smartphones and all this kind of stuff exist. So it wouldn't make sense with that whole thing in the timeline wise. But tonally, I guess if you're separating all of that and you're focusing tonally on it, then tonally I would think that it probably could work within Joaquin Phoenix's Joker's universe. So yeah, those are my thoughts on the Batman. Hopefully we'll be getting a lot of cool Marvel, DC stuff soon. Like I think there's like the new Thor Love and Thunder trailer that will be coming out eventually soon. Can't wait for that. Probably, Doctor Strange will be coming out soon. Moon Knight's coming out in a matter of weeks, and I can't wait to review Moon Knight. He's a great character. Can't wait to see what they do. Can't wait to review that show and give you my thoughts about it. I've been reading a lot of different like new Moon Knight comics now, and refreshing just in time for the show and everything. That's what's interesting. So yeah, can't wait for that to happen. So Moon Knight will probably be the next thing to review. Probably do weekly episode reviews, and that'll be fun. But yeah, as always, don't forget to like and subscribe as I have originally mentioned, and I will see you next time.